Hey there, Alpiners. Hey, one of the questions I see get asked a lot on Facebook and other camping forums is people asking for suggestions on how to set up their storage areas. So I'm going to show you around mine this morning. It's not perfect, it's not the end-all be-all, but it works for us. And some of the things I'll show you I've learned from other campers, so just passing it along, maybe you'll pick up a thing or two. So give you a quick tour around and show you what we do. So one of the ways I try to keep this organized in here is I like to put things away in layers, kind of so that when I take them out, I take them out kind of how I normally use them the best I can. One of the things I do is I relocated these tie downs, which were originally on the floor somewhere. I can't even remember where they were, but I repurposed them, moved them onto this wall, and then also on the far end, and cut some straps to put in here. So table goes in first, and then I put the chairs in afterwards, and there's another strap. So I don't have one strap holding everything in. That way, if I only want to get chairs out and I don't need the table, which is often the case, then I can just undo one of the straps and get the chairs out and not bother with the table. So this way you can just strap the other stuff in. In this case, it's the two chairs we carry here. Done, and they won't go anywhere. And they're nice and solid, and you can lean other things up against it. And over here we've got these little cheapy chairs we keep on board. We're a family of 3, so we have a couple different chairs. So I just use this little nook and cranny and put a little tie down strap that I can pull in here. Keep it that way. We like to carry these little green folding tables, and then another little table. We've got a couple different tables on board. So these things are always flopping around, so I put a tie down in here, and again, this is a repurposed tie down. I think I moved this one. I don't remember if that was there originally or not, but the ones that I think that one was originally there. But and I just cut these to the length I need them. That way they're not. I put that on backwards. That way they're not flopping around. Also with a bunch of extra straps everywhere. You don't need to torque them up. Just snug them up so they'll keep everything. So that way when you get where you're going, none of this stuff's falling down, and you still have all this open area which you can use, and it works out pretty good. Okay. So I had the whole compartment cleaned out earlier. I'm slowly putting things back together so you can kind of see what it's starting to look like. There's the chairs and the small tables strapped down that I showed earlier. We keep our grill down here. This trusty Weber Q is probably about 13 or 14 years old. Had it since the very first camper, I believe, and that thing keeps on going. Just keep it clean. I know a lot of people don't, or some people don't want to keep their grills on board for fear of attracting rats and stuff. That's definitely a concern, especially if you're not in your camper a lot. Thankfully, we keep ours at home, so I'm out here all the time. And before we put this thing up, after each trip, I clean that grill out really good. I burn all the stuff off of it, and clean it out, because you don't want a rat in your camper. They will do some massive damage. So, but like I said, I think leaving it unattended is definitely more of a concern. So we're here a lot, so don't really have that issue. You'll see pegboard. I put pegboard in all sorts of places. I got it out in the front one too. I'll show you that in a minute. Just helps make use of the vertical space. Just a different assortment of hooks just to hang things off of it, and they have these nice little bins too, which are helpful. And even that nice shelf right there, so you can do all sorts of different things with it. One of the nice things that I did with this, I wanted an outside TV, and really wasn't sure how to do it. We don't really use a TV that much, but every once in a while, you know, if something's on, sports or something, I feel like watching it. We do spend most of our time kind of sitting by the fire and not doing the TV, kind of camp to get away from that, but I did like having it. So I found this really cool bracket and made a mount for it. The TV's not huge. I think it's, I don't know, 19, 20 inches or something like that. but it gets the job done. And the nice thing about it is when you're done, you just push it up and it clicks, and it's really out of the way. It does not interfere. It's right below the top of the opening of the compartment, so it really doesn't interfere with loading at all. I've got it wired up with a Fire Stick, so if we are somewhere that has internet, we can watch it. And then this is what the mechanism looks like. I did have to build some blocks up there to tie into the existing frame of the camper. Wasn't too hard, just had to kind of work around the plumbing and some of the wiring, but a few blocks. I never painted it. I was planning on it, but I never got around to it. But it's super sturdy. This rig's got, I don't know, 12,000 miles on it now, and this has been with us everywhere we go. And it's a really nice. It really comes in handy. Up front, again, pegboard. One of the things I did, my 2018 didn't come with a motion activated light, so I put one in. Really like that. It's real easy to do. I just got rid of the existing one. I found this on Amazon. It's now probably a year or so old, and it's working great. So when I come out here and open up the door, the light just comes on, and it'll stay on as long as I'm in here messing around, and then after a minute or so it goes off. There is a switch on it if I want to leave it on solid too, so that's helpful. There's more of the pegboard. This isn't my original idea. I saw somebody else's camper years back that had it. I thought, wow, that was a great idea. So it allows me to put a lot of the stuff up, again, making use of that vertical space. I mean, you can put shelves in here as well. For me, this works. I carry a lot of extension cords and stuff, just because I often carry an electric smoker and just some other stuff that hot plate and that sort of thing. So want to be able to be flexible with it. Put some shelves up on the side to carry, lubricants and cleaners and that sort of thing. So it's a little bit of everything. I do weigh this camper. I weighed it when I first got it, and I've weighed it after I pretty much fully loaded it, just to make sure that we were well within, and we're good. I keep an eye on the weight. That's important. Up here on this shelf, I have an air compressor that I put in. It's an old air compressor I've had forever. It does a good job. Just barely strong enough to get the tires on this thing inflated, because these are 110 tires. And that's an AC compressor. It does not run off the battery. So, but usually when I'm on the road in this space right here, I carry a 2,000 watt generator with us. Just in case I needed roadside power, or if we were at a campground and we lost power. I just don't leave it out here because I don't want anyone to pry open the door and help themselves to it, although I've never had an issue where we live, but I'm not taking any chances. One thing I recommend to you, if you don't already have one, get yourself a good quality 1/2-inch breaker bar with the sockets that you need for your wheels. I do carry that DeWalt impact wrench. I can't talk about it good enough. I love that thing. It does the job really well. I know someone said that they had an issue and theirs didn't budge the lug nuts on theirs. I use that on my F-250. I use it on my boat trailer. I use it on this, and it's a workhorse. But I still torque them down with this, and also just in case you had a battery failure or anything. Nothing like having a good old-fashioned manual tool. Never leave you stranded. The other thing I have up front that I added, I really like, is this MoreRide cord reel. It's a manual one. It's not electric. It's not wired into the camper. It simply stores the cord. I have a 50-foot 50-amp cord. It's a long one, and it's a beast. This thing is great. I can roll that thing up in about 30 seconds, and it's neat and taking it's right out of the way, and it will fit the entire cord with no problem whatsoever. When I get where I'm going, I just pull this thing out, and the whole thing does have to come out to use it, but that's the same thing I was doing when I was storing it in a box. It was just a pain in the butt to deal with it. So that's the front, and it works out pretty good for us. One of the things I keep on the camper is a small wet dry vac. Can't tell you how many times I've used that. I've used it. We go to the Keys a lot, and we bring a lot of inflatable rafts and that sort of thing. So that vacuum works great as an inflator, as well as vacuuming. You can reverse the hose, and you can blow up a raft in about 10 seconds. It's pretty amazing. Also for air mattresses, if you ever need to blow one of those up, works really good. Plus I use it just to keep this area clean. So it works out really well, and I just have it hanging on the wall there. So for my water hose storage, I put a simple little bracket right here on the back side of the water closet area, and I hang my hose. I keep two. You never. If you stay long enough somewhere, sooner or later you're going to have a place where you're not going to have enough hose unless you carry extra. I found out about a year ago. I stayed at a spot and didn't have enough. The blue hose, I think, is 35 feet, and it didn't get it. So I ended up buying a second one, so I just keep it on board. So I use the smallest one I can get away with, but having two on board is definitely the way to go. Also, these ball bungees, if you were to see my rig, I got them everywhere. These things are super handy. You can use them to tie up and secure just about everything on the camper, and they're cheap. You can buy them on Amazon, a bag of like 50 for, I don't know, 15-20 bucks, and they last. Actually, they work pretty good. For lighting in the compartment, the camper came with these guys here. They're not bad, but they really don't light the thing up that much. Particularly when I have the TV mounted below it kind of cuts it off. But even before that, it wasn't great. So I found a solution that worked for me. Harbor Freight sells these LED strip lights. They go on sale every once in a while for 20 bucks. And they are really good, believe it or not. I know Harbor Freight's not exactly known for quality, but these lights they've been great for me. I've got them in several places. I got them in the garage, and they're really bright. The only thing is they don't have a switch, so I put a switch in the end of the plug. So to turn it on, I just manually reach in here. But it's literally night and day. It lights up the compartment fully, and I when I'm in here, I like to be able to see what I'm doing, and it works out really well. I do have to confess, the compartment doesn't always look this open and spacious. This is best case scenario for us. This thing will get filled up pretty quickly, depending on the trip we go to. Certain trips we bring more stuff. I carry a Blackstone griddle in here. My carpets the mats go in here. I've got a small camp stove, LP camp stove. We like to cook. I really enjoy that part of camping. So I got a few appliances that go in here. So it doesn't always look this nice in here. It will get cluttered up. But having that stuff locked up against the wall and going vertical wherever you can definitely allows me to have more floor space for when it is time to load up and go. One thing I learned on the road this year, thankfully not on our rig, but from a guy I met in Savannah, Georgia at Skidaway State Park. There was a gentleman up there with another Keystone product. It wasn't an Alpine. I forgot what it was, but he was in big trouble. He had a lot of problems with his suspension, and they actually had a Lippert rep there working on it for him. So I went over and picked their brain for a little while and got to talking to the guy, and he carries a kit with a bunch of spare